Welcome. This is our Tuesday, February 16, 2016 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, Mabaruma and Letem to get radio stations, Gaisuko to receive another $9 billion from government as mechanization on the cards, and the administration addresses the perception of corruption. With these and other stories, I am Azim Khan. Thank you for staying with us. This is the Government News Brief. 2 new community radio stations to bridge the communication gap between the hinterland and coastland will soon be established. Find out more in this report.
From the sum allocated in the capital budget would be for 2 community radio stations in Mabaruma and in Letem. And these would also have the money had been allocated, $45 million in all, so that you will have 2 community radio stations that will have a capacity to link to central NCN radio, and so that we can have connection with those areas in Essequibo where our people need to be informed, particularly in the face of a threat from the western neighbor.
Prime Minister Nagamutu, who holds ministerial responsibility for the public information and communication sector, explained that the 2 community radio stations will boost Radio Payomak, which serves mainly communities in the Rupununi. The Prime Minister was also questioned by opposition member and former Junior Finance Minister Bishop Juan Edgehill about the functionality and status of the $23 million uplink facility.
We have voted for the VSAT Phase 2, a sum of $8 million in this budget, so that we could do the infrastructural system to tap into satellite TV. So that we will be able to reach 16 sites, 9 sites in Guyana, and perhaps to link up with the learning channel and to have an additional 16 sites service so that we can have information, entertainment, and news spread to Guyanese through this network.
The Office of the Prime Minister was allocated a sum of $677.45 million to implement its current and capital work program for 2016. This sum was approved last evening during examination of the estimates in the National Assembly. With this Government News Brief, Shanta Goberdan reporting.
The National Assembly has approved a $9 billion injection into the sugar industry, which will see its recovery and modernization. Here is Glendon Greenwich with the details.
Although Gaisuko surpassed its 2015 production targets, the industry is threatened by weakening sugar prices, aged machinery, and high production costs.
This allocation forms part of the coalition government's initiative to transform the sector into one which will be more productive and profitable for all stakeholders, employees alike.
The future lies in an industry that is more than sugar. The financial woes of sugar are so grave. The needs of the economy are so great that the transformation of sugar cannot be done gradually. Time is of the essence. The process has to start immediately. And while there will be some initial redundancies, opportunities for re-employment will be created in a relatively short period of time. Some current workers may find themselves becoming entrepreneurs in the near future.
Part of that allocation will be utilized to assist the merger of the West Demerara estates and the conversion of the Wales estate lands into a profitable non-sugar enterprise in keeping with government's continued commitment to the 1,700 workers and 774 private farmers of Wales sugar estate. Wales apart, the government has several plans to take the sugar industry forward.
The Skeldon cogeneration plant will be returned to Gaisuko and an increase in tariff per kilowatt hour negotiated. The cost of services to third parties, including drainage and irrigation, will be recovered. Value-added production will be increased at Blairmont and Enmore factories.
Also approved was a sum of $400 million, which will be used to implement the sugar industry's mechanization project. This 2-year project will see the purchase of machinery and equipment for semi-mechanical planting, mechanical harvesting, and land preparation, among other things. These investments are to secure the 2016's production projection of 287,000 tons of sugar, which signifies a 5% increase over 2015's production. Government News Brief, Glendon Greenwich reporting.
A significant increase in the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs budgetary allocations will support economic empowerment and environmental development. Shivani Rampasad brings us the details.
To support self-sufficiency and integration of the indigenous peoples, the Indigenous Peoples Affairs Ministry received an increase in its budgetary allocations of $2.183 billion for 2016 compared to $9 million received in 2015.
To eliminate poverty and develop our indigenous communities, to maintain expensive equipment and infrastructure, and not continue the previous government's trend of wasting our taxpayers' money, we need to train our indigenous young people. Yes. We need to start preparing them for the world of work. A career. We need to prepare them to be young entrepreneurs. Oh, yes. We need to prepare our young people for leadership roles in their communities. That's correct. And this, I'm proud to say, is what our government, through the Ministry of Indigenous Affairs, will be doing. Yes. Actually, Mr. Speaker, our ministry has already started in this direction. And I'm happy to say that the Hinterland Employment and Youth Service was launched in October 1, 2015 in Paramakatoy in the North Pacaramas, Region 8.
Under this one-year program, the youths will benefit from a stipend of $30,000, $10,000 of which will be saved monthly. Participants will also have the opportunity to develop viable business plans that will be awarded grants for startup. The program has already started in some communities in Region 8. Meanwhile, $10 million will be spent on the design for a new dormitory at Liliendal. $35 million subvention has been provided to the Bina Hill Institute of Learning.
The Hinterland Youth Employment was launched. Budget 2016 will make possible the massive explosion of the program across Guyana's hinterland. Our young people are no longer part of a young political brigade. They are being prepared to face the challenges of the world and make successful men and women of themselves. Not to be beggars, not to say at the end of 2-3 years of spending good money to say we don't know what to do. They must be able to say, thank you for training me. I'm now moving on. I have a job.
Additionally, the sum of $14.8 million was allocated for the purchase of boats and outboard engines and $42.1 million for the procurement of vehicles and ATVs, which will be used to transport children to and from schools. For this government news brief, Shivani Rampasad reporting.
Corruption eats away the moral fabric of society. Reducing the perception of wrongdoing is to be addressed by the coalition government. Paul McAdam explains.
The high rating of the perception of corruption is an issue that the coalition government intends to address via certain measures, according to Minister of State Joseph Harmon.
This is the ranking we found when the AFC government came into office. Yeah. The Transparency International Corruption Index for 2006, out of a total of 166 countries, out of the total of 166 countries visited, Guyana was at 121. In 2007, or 166. In 2007, it was 123. 166. In 2008, it was 126. In 2009, you're not going to dictate my pace. In 2009, it was 126. In 2010, it was 116. In 2011, it was 134. In 2012, 133. 2013, 136. 2014, 124. And in 2015, 119 and going down.
The senior government official is hopeful that the measures that will be implemented will correct that perception.
And provide a quality of public service which can make us proud and provide certainty to all that we are a country serious about doing business.
The annual perception index is calculated by several agencies such as Transparency International. It is based on surveys with various stakeholders such as business owners and ordinary citizens.
New job opportunities are expected for Regions 6 and 9 residents. Shivani Ramprasad tells us more.
The completion of Belvedere and Lethem industrial estates will see the creation of over 120 new businesses. $212 million has been approved by the National Assembly for the development and rehabilitation of industrial estates in 2016. These two projects have remained incomplete for over a decade.
The $212 million that has been allocated for developing and fixing our industrial estates in 2016 will go a long way to creating the jobs that the honorable member refuses to accept will be created by these estates. There are two new sites, Mr. Speaker, one in Lethem, Region 9, which once completed will be able to accommodate at least 100 businesses, and another one in Belvedere, Region 6, which is smaller and has space for about 20 businesses. These projects have been languishing in the pipeline for well over a decade, and our government will complete them so that appropriate workspace can be provided for investors in value-added industries who have the potential to export and earn foreign earnings for our economy.
On completion, the ministry will take responsibilities for these estates to ensure that they do not degenerate into replicas of the current Eccles and Collagen models. The Collagen estate, which is in a state of despair as a result of years of neglect, will also undergo major capital works. 2 new bridges will have to be built to provide access for the heavy-duty vehicles that transport materials and goods for businesses operating on the site.
The Collagen estate will also have to undergo major capital works. This will cost $40 million, Mr. Speaker. Proper regulation and management of all of these estates will become a priority so that they are sustainable over the long term and that our economy actually benefits from the investments that government makes in developing them.
In addition, the government will regularize the use of these estates to ensure that future allocations of space are made in a transparent and fair manner. During the consideration of the estimates of the 2016 national budget, the Business Ministry allocation of over $1.2 billion was approved. For this Government News Brief, Shivani Ramprasad reporting.
We have come to the end of the Government News Brief for Tuesday, February 16, 2016. This is a photograph taken of the independence activities on May 26, 1966. If you're in this photograph, please give us a call on 226-6715 or 225-3119. We would certainly like to speak with you. Remember, the Government News Brief, along with all other GINA programs, can be found on our website. We are also on Facebook and YouTube. On behalf of all of us here at GINA, thank you for watching.